AITA for returning a birthday gift I got from my boyfriend after he insulted me about my colorful past. This happened last night, but my phone is still blowing up. I, female, 26, dipped into my savings and got Mike, my boyfriend, 27, a S5 for his birthday yesterday. He knew he was getting the sieve because he told me that the S5 is the only thing he wants. We've been together for 4 years, so the cost didn't matter. That is until I found out what he thinks about me. Some background. When I was 18, I was involved with Jake, a guy who I met online. We ended things after 3 months, and I moved on shortly after with Adam, a guy from work. I found out a couple months later that Jake and Adam were actually really close friends, but I didn't know Jake long enough to meet his friend group, so I had no idea. After finding out, I took some time off dating, and 2 years later, I met my current boyfriend, Mike. I was upfront and honest with Mike about my past and the fact that I was unintentionally involved with friends. He said he understood and my past didn't bother him. Last night, at his party, I showed up with his S5 and him and his friends were screaming with joy. His best female friend Jessica laughed and said, "I wish I was a thought so I could afford a S5 too." I looked at her with an "excuse me" look on my face and she just said, "Never mind," and walked away. I confronted my boyfriend about it, and he said, and I quote, "She's just messing with you. You can't take a joke." So I pushed further as to why this girl is even calling me names to begin with. And he said, "Well, everyone knows you were a thought before you met me." I asked him to explain how I was thought before him, and he said, messing with best friends. He then pat me on the shoulder and said that it's okay because I'm not who I was back then, and if he could get over my colorful past and that mentality is to give me a chance, then I could get over Jessica's comments and give her another chance. I didn't say anything. I just got up, took the S5 from the gift table and left. He was pissed. He literally called me like 20 times, but I didn't care. I was so hurt that I took the bow off and took it straight back to the store I got it from. They happily refunded it. I thought that was done, but Mike and all his friends, including Jessica, are berating me for being petty, and they're all saying I brought this on myself by making poor choices. I responded to Mike and told him that he deserves better than me, so find someone who wasn't a thought and get this S5 from them because I returned it. He started screaming how I'm the biggest for returning it and how I should be happy he ignored my colorful past. I'm thinking maybe taking it back went too far. Firstly, thank you all for the support. I really appreciate it, and I'm trying my best to respond to each of you. Turns out you guys were right, but we'll get into that. Firstly, I unblocked Mike this morning and called him to talk. After a few hours of arguing, I finally got the truth out of him. He said after I told him about my past, he was fine with it because it happened before him. Then, he got curious about who Jake and Adam were. So, he went digging on my Facebook friend list and didn't find Jake, but he found Adam. He then condemned me for having an X on my social media page. I said I don't speak to the majority of people on my Facebook, but I wouldn't delete them. I just won't engage. He said that in his eyes, that was a red flag, so he went digging, and he found what he was looking for. He saw that Adam was well known and well liked by a lot of women because of all the women liking and commenting on his posts. And by the cars and trips he posted prior, he knew that Adam had to be well off. He also admitted to knowing some of the women who were in Adam's comments. He then tried digging into Adam's friend list, but it was hidden. So he asked Jessica to stalk his likes, comments, and posts for Jake. Sure enough, they found Jake, saw that Jake drove an expensive car, and came to the conclusion that I only date men with money. Note, Mike doesn't have money, so his entire analysis was dumb. Anyway, I asked him why he just didn't come to me, and he confessed that for a while, he thought I was interested in Jake ate Adam for money because that's what women do. He then said that him and Jessica brought this situation up to his guy friends, and they all agreed that this is how the situation went. I was dating Jake, he introduced me to Adam, I found out Adam had more money than Jake, I left Jake to sleep with Adam, then started dating him. I questioned why would I leave Adam if I was with him for money, and he said he thought that was a lie, and Adam had to be the one to leave me. He then said that he contemplated breaking up with me over this for months, but as he got to know me, he slowly realized I am not that kind of person. I told him that he's basically full of shit for dirtying my name with his friends. Then I asked him why he didn't clear up my name. He said whenever he brought me up, they all dismissed me as a gold digger, that a woman who slept with men for money, and here's the kicker, probably still have some of that money saved. They came to the conclusion that I must be with Mike for some ulterior motive, but he was too embarrassed to defend me. He also said that he was embarrassed every time I mentioned a male friend or tagged any guy on social media because they all teased him afterwards. I remember him asking me to not like any other man's photos on social media and to not tag any guys. But I just thought it's because it made him uncomfortable, not because his friends were silently stalking me. After hearing all of this, I decided to end things with Mike. I told him that he's not a nice person, and I can't trust him anymore, especially because he knew I was saving for months to afford the salve, and he allowed his friends to think that I got my money somewhere else. After ending it, I said, "Oh, by the way, have you ever slept with Jessica?" He said no, but after she found Jake, she suggested that they hook up if he ever needs to get back at me in the future. I asked what she meant by getting back at me, and he said she was certain I would cheat on him with a wealthier man if I found one. He then said that he gave me the truth after all these years, so I should forgive him and give him another chance. But I didn't. I just thanked him for the good times, the memories, and for dirtying my name. Then I hung up and blocked him again. Now, I think I'll take another long break from the dating world. Thanks again, everyone.